Welcome to Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater. Issues and Answers is presented as a public service to New Mexicans by State Employees Credit Union, who have been proudly serving the families of New Mexico locally and abroad since 1958. State Employees Credit Union is ready to help you and your family with all your financial goals. And now, Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater.
Welcome to the program. I'm Diane. Cowboy Up. What does that mean to you? Well, we're going to describe what it means to cowboys and to veterans as we discuss Horses for Heroes Cowboy Up. It's a program here in New Mexico that is one of the only faith-based cowboy veterans programs in the entire United States. We're going to discuss what does the Cowboy Up mean. Toughen up. And again, it's for our veterans. And we've always heard of the word PTSD. But there's also a new kind of explanation of what PTSD might mean. We're going to discuss the post-traumatic spiritual dissonance that some of our veterans are experiencing as they come home. And this program, of course, it deals with cowboys and horses and how that is affecting our veterans in a very positive way. So stay with us as we cowboy up right after this. Welcome back to the program. I'm Diane. I have with me today Rick Iannucci. He is the Executive Director for Horses for Heroes Cowboy Up right here in New Mexico. Welcome to the program.
Good to be here. Thank you.
And thanks for working with our veterans, and it's kind of a unique way. Let's start with some of the new things. We discussed the PTSD. We've always known what that has meant, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Correct.
Our veterans are facing, but you now are calling it PTSD, meaning post-traumatic
spiritual dissonance.
Tell me a little bit about that, Rick.
Well, Diane, I'm a former Green Beret myself, and one of the things that we noticed when we started the program, and our program, Cowboy Up, is, as you know, is basically Cowboy 101. It's not a horse therapy, kumbaya program that's out there. This is real cowboy skills that we're teaching. We're taking in skill set restructuring, we take the military skills and overlay them over top of ranching skills, starting with American horsemanship, real American horsemanship. One of the things that we started discovering as we started dealing with veterans that were coming home was that all of them didn't fit into the PTSD, the post-traumatic stress disorder box that the VA was trying to basically check everybody into. They had other things that were bothering them. They were true warriors when they were on their multiple deployments, but what happened was, what we recognized was that there was a moral injury that had occurred, a spiritual dissonance, if you will, that was preventing them from full healing. And this is the thing that we started keying on, and we started seeing more and more and more of it. And we realized that if we did not, it was fine. We had amputees that were working on their horsemanship, and they were coming back, and they were doing great with their physical, getting their physical self in shape, and their psychological self in shape through the program. But what we started focusing on was for a full healing, getting that spiritual self back together again, starting with the horses and working with the horses. And we saw that connection started being extremely helpful in the entire healing, mind, body, and spirit. And without the three, there was no complete healing. It was a secular healing that wasn't really efficient and wasn't effective, and I don't think it's what the Lord wanted either.
How does dealing with horses, working with horses, help our veterans?
Well, you know, we have a satellite ranch out on the Navajo reservation right now that we helped establish with one of our Native American counselors. And
we're seeing this gentleman here, looks like a veteran,
yes,
leading a horse.
One of our veterans in the round pen, developing that mind, that spiritual connection with that animal. What we discovered was that the Indians say, the Native Americans say that the horse is the link between the physical world and the spiritual world. And so with that connection and using that analogy, we try to get the veterans on the first level to develop that faith in the, first of all, faith in that animal again, a 1,200-pound gigantic animal, four-legged, non-judgmental. If they start developing that faith in that animal again, that ends up developing a little bit of confidence and faith in themselves. Then we have the other veterans that come on board, all our veterans that work with us. They are all volunteers. We don't have any paid staff or any of that fancy stuff like that. We take care of each other. It's veterans helping veterans. Once they start doing that, they start developing faith in each other. And as soon as they start developing faith in each other, as we do when we feed everybody every day, everyone eats at the bunkhouse every day, and we say a blessing and we pass it around. Each person takes their turn saying a heartfelt blessing, and we bless our food. We're thankful for that. And once we start seeing that, then we start seeing that connection and that faith in God again. Once you see the healing occur from the horse on through that, through themselves, through their comrades, and we're comrades, not counselors, then you start seeing that fully developed faith in God again. And that's where the real healing starts taking place.
And that's where you've seen the dissonance, right? The spiritual dissonance.
That's correct.
So they're off.
If I can read you a passage.
Sure. And they're off the battlefields. They're off the battlefield.
They're off the battlefield
home.
and everything. You know, Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world." And that's the world that they're trying to get shoved into, and where they just don't quite fit in anyway because they've been back from 4 or 5 combat tours. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. And so they can get back to that again and start doing what they were designed to do. And that's why they were probably saved from battle. Some of them have survivor guilt where they're, why was I, the guy next to me got killed, the guy to the other side of me got killed. How is it that I'm able to walk away from this? Well, God's perfect will has a plan for you. And it may be ministering to these other guys and gals that are in the program.
You're a retired U.S. Marshal and former Green Beret.
I am.
But have you always been a cowboy prior to going into the military?
I have been. I've been messing with horses since I was a kid, and been blessed that I've had that connection. They've always been a refuge and a source of. And in many cases, when I was growing up, I would take courses off the racetrack and reprogram them, repurpose them, and then I was able to sell them and do different things with them. So I've been working and training horses for a long time, and I've had them. It's just been a big part of my life. So it's all I knew what to do.
So we're seeing here a little bit of the training.
Yeah, that's some of the training of us. Opening and closing gates is a big thing because we work on some of the big ranches. We were able to get the buy-in from the community. The community was great because what I did was I got in touch with the New Mexico Cattle Growers Association. I'm very close with them. And I developed something called Program Partners. I realized that if we didn't have the buy-in from the ranching community, it would be somewhat of a shallow program in that we wouldn't be able to bring those real skills out to them. And they wouldn't be able to test those skills. It would be a constant training, like we do in the military or the police department. So unless you get to test your skills from time to time, it works. So what I did with the Program Partners is I petitioned them. I've got great partners like the Singleton Ranch, the Staple Cross Ranch, the Bonanza Creek Ranch. And what I did was I said, hey, listen, I'd like you to be a program partner with us. I said, well, what do we have to do? What's it going to cost? I said, it's revenue neutral to the ranch. Well, now you have their attention.
And you get the help. So
exactly, but let me finish. And so I said to them, I said, what I need you to do is provide our guys and gals an opportunity. What I guarantee you is that we're not going to bring anybody that's less than spectacular out to your place. And we've been able to accommodate that so far to the point where on several of the ranches, they've actually hired our guys after and say, hey, give me 2 of those guys. They're great. They're focused, they're determined, they're highly motivated.
Well, is that the idea? What's the end result, Rick? Of course, the fellowship, healing. Is it also job and employment?
To be honest with you, there's no better healing than economic empowerment.
Isn't that true? Isn't that
and
true?
And so, if that's a factor in there, but that's not having the healing occur at all those levels. To be perfectly honest with you, it's great that we've got guys working on these ranches and doing different things, but we don't really. That's not our purpose. What our concern is that they're able to take in the skill set restructuring program, they're able to take those skills that they had, understand that they're being told they're not of any value anymore, but it was their identity. We're showing them where they were, where it was their identity, and how to retool them, repurpose those skills, and how to use them. If they can do them with something as obscure in some respects as cowboying and working on ranches and working with horses, they can do it just about anywhere.
That's what you're teaching them.
And that's what we're teaching them, that
redirect
resilience.
That resilience, which of course they had on the battlefield, of course.
Absolutely.
The number of people who you've worked with, were they cowboys? Did they have experience with horses prior to you dealing with them? What percentage would you say?
Some of the veterans do, or a lot of our Native American veterans that come through the program, and it's a self-paced program, by the way, so it's almost tailor-made for each individual. There's no one-size-fits-all. Everybody brings different learning skills to the program. Some are auditory learners, some are kinetic learners, some are visual learners. And so we kind of teach everything at the same time. We demonstrate, and we operate in the special forces mode. See one, do one, and teach one. So, those folks, we're able to accommodate various learning styles, and we're able to get to that end result.
Well, we're going to take people to the ranch right now. You're going to show what these veterans are learning and the skills that they're attaining and what they're able to do with it.
Great.
We're first going to see the video that you brought, and this is it, Horses for Heroes, New Mexico.
That's my wife, Nancy DeSantis, there, and she runs also our women's program. We have a fully functional women warrior program. That's Alroy Billum. He's our Native American peer counselor. He runs our Buell Park operation out on the Navajo Reservation. That's one of our women warriors that is part of the women's program that we run. We run 4 women's retreats annually, and that's great. This is our bunkhouse coming up here, I guess. This is part of the women's program.
And which location is this, Rick?
This is our place here in Santa Fe County, right off of Route 14 on the beautiful Turquoise Trail. And this is one of our instructors there. This young man drove all the way from Arkansas to participate in the program, stayed in the bunkhouse with us.
Does it cost the veterans anything?
This is totally free to the veterans. We'll never take a dime from these veterans. We're 100% funded by donations. I mean, I wrote the checks for the first couple of years, but we've been blessed. We've got some good donors right now, but nobody gets takes a salary there. We don't have these high-priced executive salaries and things of that nature. So this is a group of our guys out there working basically we start in the round pen, move into the arena. Once they get a seat, as they call it, down, we move them on to some of the program partner ranches. That's us teaching dragging cows and putting slickers on and off, and this is one of our versatility sessions that we run them. And so they develop such a level of confidence on that horse. So it's not just somebody puts you on a horse, grabs the halter. Again, opening and closing gates on horseback. Looks like they make it look easy, these guys and gals, and they're great doing it. But that's a skill that's essential if you're working on some of these ranches. So when I do bring them out there, they can brand, they can mark cattle. That's one of our first female graduates, Emily Roosh. That's us working in some of the branding pens out there at the Singleton Ranch. That's Grant Mitchell, one of our program partners, and Chris Chasen, one of our instructors. That's us on the Laguna Pueblo. The Laguna Indians have been great to us. The Cedillo Cattle Association has been great. We go out there all through spring into the fall. That's us saying a blessing before a meal. That's one of our other partners, the JX Ranch out in Tucumcari.
Do they mostly then live on the ranch for how long?
Well,
would they be on the ranch?
The ranch, the bunkhouse is open. They can come for 10-day spurts if they like, or they can come for longer periods if they like. It depends on what as I said, it's tailor-made for each of them.
And are they, Rick, from New Mexico? Are these veterans from New Mexico? When you say they come for 10-day spurts, I can imagine people from maybe New York, the veterans from New York or back east want to come back and try this
Actually, we haven't
Western
had
experience.
Anybody from there yet, except we do have a New Mexico lieutenant colonel wounded in Iraq twice. I guess once wasn't good enough for him. We always kid him. But anyway, we have now gone beyond just being a day program since the addition of the bunkhouse to being a resident program. We just signed a memorandum of understanding with the United States Special Operations Command and the Casualty Care Unit there, the Transition Unit. So we will be getting Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, and those type of folks coming in 2 by 2 to participate.
Because
in
you're
sessions.
building what you're building
That's us
right here?
building the bunkhouse.
Wow.
You know, I had these guys and gals, guys mostly living in our house for over 2 years. Bless my wife and daughter. They were great with that. And then finally we decided we needed to really expand. And, you know, we were blessed. We got a good stipend from Double H Boots and those folks for the wood and some of the materials. And then these are all wounded warriors that helped build this.
And it's up and running
This
now.
bunkhouse. We've been up and running since last year. In fact, we had the Leroy Petrie, the Medal of Honor recipient, came and dedicated the building to us last July or last June when they were dedicating his statue downtown. He's the ranger that received the Medal of Honor for his.
So you train them at your ranch?
Yes, ma'am.
And they stay maybe up to spurts of 10 days?
They can stay as long
And then you
as
train them as well, and then they go, you partnership with other ranches, and they go and actually work the cattle?
They do,
brand
and we'll take them out from our place. They report in, we go in like a crew. We have a branding crew. If they're not ready, that's us inside having sharing a meal. There's a porch. We've got a deep porch that goes around 12 foot.
Is that the bunkhouse now?
That is the bunkhouse at Sunset.
Wow.
And that's some of our crew there. There are 3 amputees. One of the fellows that helped dedicate the building, Dana Bowman, a double amputee, the first double amputee to go back on active duty into Special Forces again after his injury, after he received his legs back. So we're really, you know, proud of the guys and gals that come through the program.
That gentleman who's a double amputee, he worked with horses prior to this?
Yeah, Dana Bowman's actually
he
one
did,
of our,
okay.
he's on our staff advisory
Okay.
group. He has a program that's called It's the Ability, Not the Disability, and he's come to help us and lend some inspiration to the fellas, you know, and gals that are suffering from some physical injuries. So it's, we're really blessed to have a great staff advisory group and the program partners that we have. Great folks like the Mitchell family from the Singleton Ranch, San Cristobal.
Are some of the veterans in wheelchairs?
We have the ability. We have a ramp and et cetera. And one of our veterans, Chris Chasen, who lost his leg, he was in a wheelchair, and there was a picture of him
Yes,
earlier
right.
on. He's now one of our instructors. In fact, he would be here today, but he had to teach a class today. So he's got one of our Army nurses that's Chris Chasen, who's now an instructor with us, and he's got his prosthetic leg, and he cowboyed up.
That's what we were supposed to do. You're supposed to tell us
He's teaching
about-
a class today. You know, he's got the courage, intestinal fortitude, the motivation.
But you were saying at the beginning of the program, cowboy up.
Right.
You said it's a military, not cowboy up, but get up is a military tough enough term?
You know, on the ranches, it's a term, you know, to use when things get grim and you're just dog tired and all you're chewing is dust and dirt, the same as you are in the military on a road, you know, or pinned down somewhere, and basically just look at each other and say, come on, cowboy up.
You've cowboyed up quite a bit in your distinguished career. You worked also at West Point as an instructor, but also with the elite U.S. Marshals Special Operations Group. Tell us a little bit about your career and again, starting with being a cowboy as a
Yeah,
early
right.
age.
Right. I was a reluctant member of the U.S. Marshal Special Forces. I was trying to get, coming out of the service, I wanted to go to college and teach college, and I ended up getting recruited by the U.S. Marshals for their Special Operations Group. They were recruiting at the time former Green Berets, Rangers, and things like that. And, you know, I planned on, well, this 2-year thing while I'm finishing school, and then I'll be on my way. Well, 2 years turned into 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 9, 9 to 11, 11 to 18, and then they're starting to send you retirement things, and you're going, wow, I've been here a long time. My last 3 years with the U.S. Marshals, I was the commander of the what they call the Combined Country Assessment and Training Team. It's a special missions unit in Colombia, South America. So we were involved with a running gun battle with the FARC guerrillas, trying to establish a protective operations capability, an anti-kidnapping type capability so that that country could adopt an adversarial legal system and start their own healing of a 40-year guerrilla war that they were involved in.
So how many years have you been in service to the United States, not counting your Horses for Heroes
Oh,
Cowboy
golly
Up, but
day.
I mean, as again, U.S. Marshal, Green Beret.
You know, I think, volunteerism has always been organic to our family and our nature. And, as Matthew says in the New Testament, if you don't use those gifts, you can't hide them under a basket. If you don't use them, the Lord's going to take them away from you. So I think I've been I consider myself a servant, and if you're going to be a good leader, the thing about being a good leader is you also have to know how to be a servant. And Christ washed everyone's feet on Holy Thursday, and he didn't have to do that. He's the boss.
Right.
I'm running this show, but he went down and served his apostles, and so as an example, so a good leader is able to do that, and that's how I develop my leadership skills, is being a good servant. And we have also another expression besides Cowboy Up. It's lead, follow, or get out of the way.
And that's what you're finding. Anything else you'd like to share about the program? And again, the importance of the horses. And it's not just the horses, the spiritual part with the horses, but it's the camaraderie.
Well, I think the thing to know is we are now, we originally started out working just with combat wounded and PTSD rated veterans. What we have found out, we have recently opened up the program to all post 9/11 Iraq and Afghanistan and New Dawn soldiers and active duty personnel, because what we found is we brought 2 guys in that had absolutely wanted to be a part of the program, and another gal who were not combat wounded, did not have actually a PTSD rating, but what we found out was that having them on board with us was so preventative and so soothing and healing, preventing PTSD and helping in their perhaps moral injuries that they may be carrying around with them in their hearts and trying to overcome. So we have now opened the program up to all post 9/11. Anybody that's motivated and's got the inspiration, determination, and would like to come on board with us, they can contact us at horsesforheroes.org.
And there are other Horses for Heroes, I think, throughout the country, but yours
there's,
is a little
there's
different.
horse programs with different names that
Okay.
are around there, similar sounding names, but we actually own the .org and the .com, so we're horsesforheroes.org. And the Cowboy Up program is our signature program. And we really have a wonderful program for women, too. Now, we do have women in the Cowboy program, but we also have a women's retreat called The Wisdom Within that my wife Nancy has developed and designed. She is has her master's certification in equine gestalt coaching, and she's able to do, we just did our first all-female program, all women's warriors program last week, actually Memorial Day. And the second one's going to be on the 28th of June, and then she's going to do 2 or 3 more before the weather turns this year. But they're wonderful women's programs. They don't require any horse experience. They do all that work on the ground using the horses as a facilitator, as a coach, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing to see some of that. We feed them a gourmet lunch. We feed everybody. One of the things that we discovered early on is we had some of the guys coming out, and I discovered that their idea of a 3-course meal was a Rockstar drink, a bag of Cheetos, and a Marlboro. And I said, guys, you don't understand. They are not actually 3 food groups. So we want to make sure that their glucosamine levels are high enough and that they're being tended to. So we feed everybody every day. And there's nothing like breaking bread with everyone together.
Is there Bible study other than the blessings, the food in the morning, at night?
We have the Cowboy Bibles that were given to us by the New Mexico Cowbells, they call it. The Chuck Wagon Cowbells provided a whole bunch of Bible and meditation books. We don't have a formal Bible study yet. We're working on that. We just recently added a chaplain. Jose Villegas, the chaplain for the Santa Fe County Fire Department, is now our chaplain. So we now have a chaplain that we've added. And like I said, we're there to take it to the next level, and we're ready and prepared, and we're poised to do that.
What is that next level, Rick?
Well, that's where you turn things over to the Holy Spirit. If you think you're driving the train, you're mistaken. So once you do that, and you listen for the answer. That's why you got 2 ears to listen to. We're listening for the next level, and this is a spirit-driven program, and little by little we're getting there where we believe we're being led.
And you haven't seen exactly where that trail is taking you yet.
We're ready to roll.
You're ready to roll.
We're ready to roll.
Any other little antidote or any other story about a veteran, how it maybe affected their life?
Well, one of the things that we see all the time is they're constantly getting inundated with, you're having this problem, take this pill. One of our guys came out to the place and he had this gigantic, I thought it was M&Ms. It was a colored pill. It was literally
Really?
it was a 1 gallon baggie, and I said, what in the world is that? He said, these are the pills that I don't take now that I've been in this program. And I went, okay. He said, they gave me a pill to get up, a pill to get down, a pill to get over, a pill to get out, a pill to take the pill before I took the pill, one to take it after. He said, I don't take any of that now. He said, it made me cloudy. He said, it's the mindfulness, and the centeredness that I get from working with here, the ability to be able to talk with you guys, say a blessing over my meal, get back to my center, ride a fantastic animal. He said, when I come through that gate, he said, my barometric pressure just comes down, He said, and with you guys, the way you do it, you're helping me like when we were in the military, recalibrating our moral compasses and our spiritual compasses so we can get back in the saddle again.
Back in the saddle again, fantastic. Where can people get more information, Rick?
Horsesforheroes.org, HEROES, horsesforheroes.org. And if you type in PTSD, we're right on the website. Cowboy Up, we're right on the website. For some reason, we pop right up when Google, in the Google search, or they can call our hotline. We have a hotline, and they can ask for some more information. But the best thing to do is go on our website, and they can explore. They can go into issues and answers. Will be on there. We'll have a block on there. We'll include that on our links. We've got some great links for some great books for family members as well.
Very good.
We've very thorough links there. Some great
Horsesforheroes.org or .com. Rick Iannucci,
.org,
thank you.
yeah.
.org. Rick Iannucci, the Executive Director, thanks so much for what you're doing for the community, for our veterans, and we appreciate you watching the show. I'm Diane Kinderwater. Make it a great week with your family. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater is presented as a public service to New Mexicans by State Employees Credit Union, who have been proudly serving the families in New Mexico locally and abroad since 1958. State Employees Credit Union is ready to help you and your family with all your financial goals and is the exclusive sponsor of Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater in order to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. To comment on today's program or to purchase a DVD copy of any Issues and Answers program, visit sunbroadcasting.cc or call us at 505-345-1991.